Georgie, how was making The Voyage of the Dawn Treader different than making the other two?
I think the best thing about making Dawn Treader and how it was different was because it's kind of the best of both from the first two films kind of put together. I mean, there's tons of, a lot more comedy and a lot more kind of action, which is great, but it's also kind of balanced off with tons of magic like the first film. Yeah, we tried to get the balance right, and I think that's where it's really different. It's kind of a really big package deal.
How has Lucy changed over the course of the three movies?
I think she's kind of changed the most because of course she's gotten older, and when you become a teenager you kind of get a little bit more kind of insecurities and thinking about the way you look and things. So she's definitely thinking a bit more like that. She's having a bit of an interest in boys, but nothing too serious, and she's definitely also taking on a much more action-y role and kind of doing more stunts and things, which is really fun for me for the film.
What has been your favorite mythical creature in the Narnia movies?
I actually really loved, in the first film they had these huge kind of bird creatures called griffins, and they used to like fly around, and they were great in the battles and everything, and that was really cool. I love the fawns. We don't have many fawns in Dawn Treader, so that's a shame, but we have a few, which is nice. And Rupert Cheap's really cute as well. He's like got the cutest little face and so cute little voice, so yeah.
If you could keep any character trait of Lucy's to keep as your own, what would it be?
I think Lucy's a really good friend, and she's really kind of loyal to her friends, and she really respects kind of friendship, and she's very trusting, so I think I'd probably take that.
What do you do in your spare time when you're not a Queen of Narnia?
Oh, well, I always think I'm a Queen of Narnia all the time. No. I really love playing my guitar and kind of singing and things, and on the piano and things like that. I love spending time with my friends, going to the cinema, going shopping, of course, and also spending lots of time with my family.
What do you miss most about England when you're on location or doing publicity like this?
I think it's actually the food. I know that sounds really bad, but it's true. Like, we have the best food in England, like the crisps, the chocolate, it's so good. All the unhealthy stuff is so good in England, like cereals, everything. I mean, you can never find anything as good as it. Also, I do really love the seasons. Like, I love how in England you have like spring, summer, autumn, winter, whereas you come to like LA and it's sunny all the time. Like, I don't understand it, so yeah. It definitely makes for a white Christmas pretty cool.
I'm sure you prepare for interviews like this and you get asked the same questions over and over, but what is something that people haven't asked you that you're prepared to answer?
Actually, people have asked me quite a bit about my kind of music taste and things, but I never get really asked about kind of what clothes I like, which is pretty cool because, I mean, I really like to talk about it because, you know, I love clothes, I love shopping and everything, and every girl likes looking nice.
Will, how did the making of The Voyage of the Dawn Treader differ than what you expected it to be like?
You know, I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I was so inexperienced, and coming into a film like Narnia, you know, it's such a big sort of Hollywood production, I was quite kind of nervous, and I guess one of the biggest things was, in the film really, is the Dawn Treader itself. And I thought we might be at sea, but they did something quite clever, and they actually placed the boat on a gimbal, which is a cool kind of bit of machinery that made it sort of rock and shake like a normal boat, right up against the water. So when we shot on it, it made it look like we were at sea, and that really helped acting. I was a bit worried we'd be on a big ship in a studio, so that made it easier.
What was it like coming into the cast as a new member?
Again, that was quite nerve-wracking, you know, coming into a group that had already been formed, and, you know, a really good group of friends, and they'd spent years with each other and stuff. So I was a bit nervous about that, but they were all so friendly, you know, it made me feel so welcome, and I really valued that. I really appreciated it, and it just made it a lot easier. And we got on really well, and they were just all really friendly.
Describe Eustace for us.
Eustace is a complete brat, pretty much. He's a horrible character. He's pretty much in a complete tantrum from the minute he enters Narnia to the moment he's transformed into a dragon. And actually, during his time as a dragon, he is sort of mentored and, I suppose, he's kind of exposed to the error of his ways by Reaper Cheap, who obviously, you know, being the mouse and a huge character in the film. And he's redeemed, and at the end of the film, he's almost a different character completely. So it was quite cool playing two completely different sides to a character, and you know, I enjoyed that.
What were some of the challenges you encountered while playing Eustace?
Were really trying to grapple with his nature. You know, he's a complete brat. He's a complete sort of stroppy little individual, and he's obnoxious and arrogant as well. But you wanted to somehow see some kind of potential that he was going to be nice. And although much of that starts to sort of come out of the woodwork when he's a dragon, so I didn't get to show that myself. You know, when he's interacting with Reepicheep, you do want to show that they kind of have a love-hate relationship at times. And actually, after they fight on the boat, you slightly see that when Reepicheep compliments him. So, yeah, there were opportunities to show different sides to him, but ultimately that was the main challenge. It was just trying to show that potential.
What do you miss most about England when you're either on location or doing publicity somewhere else like this?
You know, one thing I don't miss at all is the weather, or the people particularly. I think people are more friendly in America and Australia. But I don't know. I think the biggest thing I miss is my family. You know, for example, I have my mum with me today, and that's great. And she's able to come with me most places. But I often don't get to take my dad. I've got an older brother called Ed, an older sister called Jo, and a younger sister called Charlotte. And I don't always get to see them as much as I'd like to. And I think that's one of the toughest things, is just being away from family. And that's one of the things I like most about Christmas and about this holiday season is the chance to be with your family. That's what's really cool.
I'm sure you prepare for interviews and you get asked a lot of the same questions over and over, but what have people not asked you that you're prepared to answer?
Yeah, I guess we do get asked sort of quite a few questions, but it's cool when we do interviews a little bit differently, and you know, like with yourself, when you get asked sort of, you know, interesting questions as well, that's what's quite cool. And no, I'm kind of open to kind of any questions really. I just, you know, but I know what you mean. You feel kind of silly repeating the same thing over and over again because it seems like it's scripted almost, or you're reading it off an auto cue. But it's cool to do interviews that are a little bit different and that ask you things that maybe others haven't.